Okay, now it's time for me to introduce you to what is called CORS. So CORS is a cross-origin resource forgery. So it gives us the ability, give the front end the ability to be able to communicate with our, applications, with our API. So we want to actually make that available for the front end developer so that the front end developer can access this. If we don't set up this, they won't be able to access it. So we're going to be setting it up right away. The first thing we'll do is to install CORS. So we're going to just do install CORS. Then we actually, import it. Then we set up, our CORS middleware. So we're going to be doing all that right now. So you can come to the documentation and read from the documentation, go to npm and search for CORS. So for that, I've already installed CORS. To install is just on your terminal, you type in npm install CORS. So you can do that on your terminal and it's going to install CORS. So right now, I'm just going to require this. So what I want to do here is to set up, I want to set up CORS. So to set up CORS, I'll just set up the middleware. I'll say app.use, just the way we've been doing before now. And we're just going to call the CORS method, right? And now, for what I actually want now is just for everybody to be able to access it. So I'm not creating a restriction. I'm not creating a key. I'm not, no restriction. So if I use this for the purpose of what I'm doing, this is good enough. But for the sake of education, I'm just going to teach you how you can set up some properties, right? And those properties are what we're going to be looking at. So we'll put in our properties in here. So it takes some properties. The first one is going to be called origin that we want to look at. The origin actually happens to be the URL that you want to access this. For example, you can tell the front-end developer, you can have an agreement with the front-end developer, and the front-end developer is saying, okay, apart from this URL that is coming in, this particular URL, no other URL should be able to access this. Let's assume this is the URL. We said, okay, apart from this URL here, no other URL should be able to access this API. So you've granted this an access. So the front-end developer can actually use this to actually query the API. So that is it. So for the sake of what I'm doing and I want it to be available to everyone, I'm just going to put a star. A star means that it is available for everyone. That's because I'm generous. Okay. The next one is going to be credentials. Are we really setting any credentials? No, we say false. We're not setting any API key. We're not setting any credentials for them to be able to access this. That is also because I'm generous. And the next one we'll also be bringing is methods. So you can actually have control of how people are able to manipulate your data right here. So you can see the method that you want. Now, the method could be get and put, all those actions that you want them to be able to carry out on this, and delete. And you can also set another one, which is the last one, post. So you're saying that they should be able to carry out these actions. This is the action you wanted to carry. Now, if this is not set, if you don't set this, it simply means, if you take off this property, simply means that you want to grant everybody access to be able to carry out any kind of, HTTP request. So for the sake of learning, I would have just left it like this, but for the sake of learning, I will just put this. I wanted to carry out the get, the post, the delete. So you can restrict them. You can say, okay, I want you guys to be able to carry out just get requests. So you take out this one. I don't want anybody to carry out post requests or put requests or delete requests. That's fine, right? You can do that. You can grant them some access to what you want them to do. So that is for the method. And the other one is option success, right? I think so. The option success status is just 200, just to be sure that this program is running, and you just put 200. So these are some of the options. These are the most important options. This one and this, and as well the credentials, as the case may be, they are very important. But for the sake of learning, I'm just making everything to be free. So if you are creating an API, you just want people to just consume it, they can just do a get request. They can do a post request, but you don't want them to delete and, to edit, update whatever you have in there. You can take off this one, right? That means those are the permission that are actually granted to that person. And also, in the case of the URL I talked about, if you have more than one URL, you can decide to put it in an array just like this. For example, you said, okay, you want different URL to be able to view this. Let's say this is the first URL. You can put it this way and say, okay, I want this URL to be able to view it. And maybe one way or the other, you have somebody somewhere telling you that, oh, can I make use of your API, blah, blah, blah. It's okay, don't worry. I'm just going to help you. You add the person. Maybe this person is me dot whatever. So we now have two of it here. So we'll put this string. It's very important. Put a string and put a string. So you can add as many, people you want then to access. So apart from these two people, nobody can access this. So that is just it. But as I said before now, because I'm a very, because this is just for learning purpose, I'm just going to make it to be for everybody. So that is it. So this is all you needed to set up in your course. So now, finger crossed, if we run npm start, hopefully we shouldn't get any break. Everything should go on well. Okay. So the next thing I will just do is just to add this and push this to my GitHub repository. And I think that's what I will do now. So I'll just git add. I think I've already pushed something similar to this, but let me just say git add. I'll just, so git commit -m. So we'll put a message. So the message is just going to read. What was it going to read? We'll say CORS added. Right? We can do that. And that is it. We just added that. So we can do git push. And the URL. I didn't set up an origin for this. So you can also set up an origin for your URL so you can access more than one URL. So I think I'll just have to go to the page. So this is the one, the private one, so the matcher. So I'll just go in here and I will be able to use this quickly. So I'll put this here and git push. I'm pushing it to this. So it's just going to be there for now. So that is what we are actually doing in this section, just for us to set up our Git repository and also to push this to GitHub, right? In the next lesson, we're going to be hosting this on a, on a web service, just like the way you host on AWS, but we're going to be hosting on Render. The Render, yeah, that's where we're going to be hosting it.